Hello everybody, this is a series of tutorials on TextFabric as a linguistic research tool, particularly for biblical studies, Old and New Testament. This series of tutorials is based upon a workshop series that I'm offering this semester to our graduate students, particular research, master research students as well as PhD students who are working on their proposals and their papers and their dissertation, their thesis. So after each workshop, I'm actually trying to put up and upload a video that summarizes what we have done in this workshop, and that video will basically be a segment of this whole series of tutorials on TextFabric. Today, I'm basically just showcasing how to install TextFabric, and I am going to run through the Jupyter notebook that I release for each workshop. It's also published on the GitHub, so you can just download it and follow along even if you haven't been in the workshop. So this is what we did in our last workshop. We introduced TextFabric and the exegetical workbench. So first I was explaining that there are three major tools that cannot be missing on any of the workbenches of a biblical scholar, namely the library, the text, and the analytic tool. So the library I would consider is Bible software. Obviously there are many more libraries, but Bible software is my to-go library because it's all on my machine. I can quickly look up dictionary entries, commentaries, I can annotate my text, I can highlight, I can mark it up, and so on. So that's really for what I use Bible software. It's a great digital library. But that's what it is. It's not more. I'm not using it for doing for carrying out actual linguistic research. For that, these types of Bible software products are just too limited. The second thing is the text, obviously, but here it's not just the analog text. I'm referring here particularly to digital texts. And here Shebang for the Old Testament and Cascadia syntax trees with regard to the New Testament is the to-go database, in my opinion. I'm not going into the details in this introduction here. That's not the purpose of it. But the great thing is if you, for example, go to Shebang as well as this Cascadia syntax trees, you can actually see and visualize the syntactic, linguistic, morphological encoding that comes with the database, which helps you then to inform and build your queries. Same here for the Logos syntax trees. Now, this is the text. The third important tool is then the analytic toolkit, which would be TextFabric, and that's where we'll focus on in this series of tutorials. Now, let's just focus on the installation of TextFabric. In order to install TextFabric, you have to first get the Anaconda package installed. It's basically, Anaconda is a Python, is basically a program that brings together all the Python tools that you need for data analysis and data processing. Let's go here to the Anaconda data, to the Anaconda website. Anaconda.com. It's used by basically all digital humanities. It's used by not just the humanities, it's also used in computer science, obviously, in business and administration. Anything that needs to process large data uses, most of them use the Anaconda package. So you go to download, and under download, you choose the 64-bit installer. Most machines are able to handle a 64-bit installer, and I would always go with a graphical installer. Unless you're a programmer, you can go for command line installer. So I choose just here, this one, and once it's downloaded, here I have it already, you just double click the installer or move it into your applications folder if you're on a Mac. And then basically you just accept all the pre-configurations that Anaconda is offering. Just click on next, 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 and once installed, obviously it's already installed on my machine, then you go to the next step, which is installing TextFabric. Now, in order to install TextFabric, you have to open the Anaconda prompt. Here you see the icon that is showing on the Windows machine. On Mac, it's a little different. There you can just go to your terminal or to your prompt or your command line, whatever you call it. But I'm on Windows machine, so let's open the Anaconda prompt. Again, if you're on a Mac, you go to the terminal, so or command line. Now, in order to install TextFabric, you type in pip install TextFabric, and you click enter. I have it already installed, so I'm good. So pip install TextFabric. In some environments, and that might apply to Mac, you would have to write pip3 install TextFabric. Yeah, you click enter, and then TextFabric is going to be installed. So once TextFabric is installed, you basically can launch TextFabric, but TextFabric always has to be launched together with the text if you're using the TextFabric browser. So there are two ways to open TextFabric or to use TextFabric. You can use it either as a browser or within a Jupyter notebook. We will focus in the main parts of this major parts of this series. We will focus on the Jupyter notebook version, Jupyter notebook way of processing TextFabric and utilizing TextFabric. But in this initial tutorial, I just want to show you that also the TextFabric browser is a powerful tool to access quickly the text. What is the difference between the TextFabric browser and the Jupyter notebook? Basically, with the TextFabric browser, you have a super fast way to open your text. You can quickly run queries without needing to know much command line, without having to have a lot of command line expertise. Only a minimum of commands is necessary. It's nice click and go type of a browser. The disadvantage is you cannot analyze your query results with Python or Pandas tools. You can also not visualize your query results, but still, it has its purpose, and within that framework, it is a powerful tool, the TextFabric browser. The advantage of a Jupyter notebook, of opening the text or utilizing TextFabric within a Jupyter notebook, is that you have a full-blown research environment. You can do deep data analysis. You have all Python and Pandas tools available, and there are no limits to graphical representation of your query results. Okay, but for now, we just want to explore the TextFabric browser. How do we open a TextFabric browser? Well, we open the TextFabric browser by typing in TextFabric, followed by the abbreviation of the TextFabric database. So here I give you a list of 4 databases that are available. There are many more available, but if you want to open the Old Testament, the BHS text, you would type TextFabric BHSA. Yeah, so you see the abbreviation. If you want to go with the Tischendorf text, then it would be TextFabric and then Tisch, because this is the abbreviation Tisch. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this in real. So TextFabric BHSA, because we want to open the Hebrew text now. So the command is run, and now it opens the browser here in my web browser. You see we have here a couple of options that you can play with. Do that as a preparation for the next session. You could look up, for example, Genesis 1 verse 1, Genesis 1 verse 1. And here you have the result. If you want to see the text, you just click here on this, and you see here Genesis 1 verse 1, Bereshit bara Elohim. So you can also use the search pad. So we could say search for example, what Exodus, book is Exodus. So search pad. Here we have, Exodus chapter 1 verse 1. Let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2. And here we go to Exodus chapter 2. Yeah. So obviously, if you need to go to a text quickly, you can just use the verse pad. You don't need to do a sophisticated search. Just Exodus 1 verse 1, and here you have the text, or Exodus 5 verse 5 or verse 4 here, and here you have your text, 5 verse 4. As you can see, you can open each verse and then you see the syntactic analysis of that verse. Different options are available here. The search pad is used if you really need to do some more sophisticated searches, where you either search for words, for example, word lex is yatabiha. I'm writing here in transliteration. How to do this we'll learn in future tutorials. But now you see I found all cases where Yahweh appears in the Old Testament 6,828 times. Okay, good. So that's what the text browser is. It has many other functions. You can also export your query results and further process them somewhere else. But this is not something we're going to focus on in this session. So if you want to open another database, then you would alter the TextFabric command. This is part of the assignment until the next workshop takes place. So number 1, open the New Testament Tischendorf database. Let's do this. So we go here to our command line and say TextFabric. What's the abbreviation for the Tischendorf text? Well, you can look it up in the little table that I provided here. This is the abbreviation Tisch. So let's put this into our command line Tisch, and now we are opening the Tischendorf text, which will show up here in my web browser. Yeah, so here we go. If you want to look up for example Romans 1 verse 1, this is how we do it, and here we have Romans 1 verse 1. You can look it up and we can get some more details by clicking on this drop down menu. We could also say let's look for the word, for a certain word. If we really run a search, not just looking up a verse, a chapter or a book, then here the search pad is really your to-go tool. So this is part of actually your task here in the Tischendorf browser. Open John 1 verse 1. So let's do that. Well, we can do it either here. John 1 verse 1. Here we are. Here we have John 1 verse 1. Yeah. We could also go here and search for John 1 verse 1. Book is John, and then chapter is 1, and then set verse 1 verse 1. Yeah. Verse is 1. Search. Here we go. This is verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1. Then it says, now search how often the word logos appears in the Gospel of Matthew. For that you need to alter your John 1:1 query and add this line to your query. So let's do that. So we want to search in the book of Matthew for the word logos. So we change this from John to Matthew. And now we search and we should find all cases. 31 times logos is used in the book of Matthew. Then open the BHS database. Well, we have done that already. It's here. So let's open the BHS database, and then it says search in the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis, so that would mean here we have to write book. Book is Genesis, and what do we want to search there? Search in the book of Genesis for all cases in which Yahweh is the subject of an action that is a predicate. Specify the book with book Genesis. Yes, yeah, we did this here, book Genesis. And then add the following line. So basically just copy paste. So we'll do that. Copy, paste this. What this means and how to do this without needing to copy paste commands, we will learn in one of the next tutorials. So basically we want to search for a clause that contains the phrase, a subject phrase and a predicate phrase. The subject phrase should contain Yahweh as a subject, and we allow for any word here on the predicate, in the predicate phrase. Search it. And now it highlights all the cases where Yahweh is subject and where he is predicated with a predicate. We could also further elaborate on this and say, let us show also the object. So phrase function is object. Good. Search. Now we will find all clauses where we actually have a subject, a predicate, and an object. For example, here, Vaita Yahweh Elohim Gan, and it planted Adonai or Yahweh Elohim. What did he plant? Here's the object Gan, a garden. Yeah. Yeah. Or let's find another nice case. Yeah, and it hit Naga, and it hit Yahweh. Who did he hit? Well, Pharaoh with great plagues. He hit Pharaoh. He hit Pharaoh and his house. You see it here. It hit Yahweh, Pharaoh, and his house. Here you have the object. Good, that was what we did in our first workshop. If you have any questions, bring them to the workshop next week. What we will be doing in the next workshop is we will actually run Jupyter notebooks, run some simple queries in the BHS text and the Tischendorf text, and then start to analyze query results with pandas and also do some simple visualizations of them. Okay, hope to see you next time in our next TextFabric tutorial session. Bye bye.